Hey y'all, it's me again, coming to you today. I just got back from Mexico a day or two ago. Had a very interesting trip and some interesting thought processes that came by me while I was there. I actually got to finish a download that I got maybe 3 months ago that finally made sense when I was there, so I thought I'd share that with you guys. Basically, yeah, the trip went off. Had a lot of hang-ups. I won't say I didn't. A lot of hang-ups. I missed the flight on the way there. I lost my phone with all my credit cards and stuff. My mom got sick. My baby got sick. Overall, though, I'm not going to pretend like it wasn't a great trip. It was nice to go out with my cousin's friends and do things like dancing and stuff, which I haven't done in a long time. So it was nice to have some of my freedom back that I don't usually have. So I did want to say, though, that what I did experience, because every time I've gone to Mexico, like, you have to understand, like, years ago, I haven't been traveling in about 7 years. But before that, when I was in my, I guess what people call like their South Node, or, I wasn't following God's path, I would go to Mexico a lot. And I guess when you're just drinking and dancing and not paying attention, or not coming into a place like that with an energetic understanding, Mexico seems great. But this time, coming with an energy body that I'm with more awareness, I can honestly say that Mexico is quite dense. Very, very dense. It was odd to me to experience that, because I thought, like, oh yeah, coming from a city, the city is dense. No, it's as light as a feather compared to the thickness that I was feeling. Because I was in the Mayan Riviera, I guess a little close to Tulum, or on the way to Tulum, and it was like I'm surrounded by nature. I'm like in this jungle-esque place, sitting on, in front of the ocean, and my level of connection to like my left side was very minimal. Like, it was like as if I was listening to it through, like, a tin can connected to a string, and then they're talking to me on the other side. But what I did want to talk about, like, okay, so I'll explain. When I talk to my hires, I kind of see them like platformic, like as if they're in a stadium, sort of. Like, there's the right side and then there's the left side. Well, more so the middle. I haven't really had much on the right yet, but I'm going to get to that. And then I had my left, but it was like in tiers, right? Like, I have tiered, I don't know. The best way I could describe it is like people sitting in bleachers in a stadium. So when I was there and I was trying to connect to my left side, which is my angels, my guides, etc., I was having, like I said, a really hard time. But however, before I left to Mexico, I was made aware of one on my right side that I've been working with, doing shadow work for some time. I won't say their name because I don't know yet if I'm supposed to be giving them praise yet. But there is something that I was able to piece together that I wasn't able to piece together before. And I hope this will make sense. I'm going to try my best. So as I was saying about Mexico being really dense, my right side, night side entity seemed to have no problem there connecting with me. It's weird. Like, when I'm here in Toronto, I connect with my left and it's a lot easier. And when I was in Mexico, I connected with my right and it was a lot easier. So that gives me the understanding that perhaps there's more right-sided entities, or more right-sided. Okay, I'm not gonna be facetious. I'm just gonna say it straight. I think there's more negative entities, or there's more negative energy running through Mexico than there is positive. I think they may be a country that's in turmoil that way, and as a result, I feel like my right side gave me some information, in the sense that, like, he was helping me do work there, which was weird, because I don't know how to explain this. It's like, okay, when I'm saying right side, I'm saying like this person is of a lower entity, if you want to put it that way, who is working alongside with me to ensure that whatever I was doing in Mexico was going to be successful. So it gave me the impression, because I haven't really had that kind of communication with said entity here in Toronto, makes me feel that even the right-sided entities are jumping on board. And not jumping on board because they can't jump on board, so to speak. But it's like if we're all looking for team win, you know, dark versus light, team light to admonish team dark. It seems like there's players on team dark that are also willing to help and facilitate that team light is the overseer and the champion of this game. And the reason why I'm saying that is because like months ago, I was getting a download from Father God. I say Father God, I mean there's Father and Mother God, obviously, but I wanted to say that specifically the information I was getting at the time was from Father God. And I know this is going to be weird, but I'll show you what I was being shown anyway. So if you guys can see under my table, I have these 2 chairs, okay? They're just 2 stools. I just wanted to show you so you know like what I was getting at, but not to feel weird. I was sitting on my couch and I was, it was around the time that I made that video about how all the partners, the divine partners were being broken up and, disbanded in a sense. So I was sitting there and I was meditating and I was talking to Father God and I was like, this is just a sad scenario because it's like, even if the duality world has to exist. I was like, will the other side, meaning the demonics, the lower entities, ever wish to have love again? Ever wish to be in love? Ever wish to be brought back to the light? And the way Father God was showing me was like those 2 chairs underneath my table, that they must coexist to create the table. The table or the place of eating or whatever the case may be, meaning like the 2 have to exist. The 2 chairs have to exist so that therefore the table is worthy of being called a table in a sense. Because if you've only got the 1 chair, you're kind of just on a ledge with a chair. So it was necessary that the 2 chairs had to exist to in order call something a table. Okay, I know this may not make sense, but it kind of made sense to me because it's like without the 2 chairs at the table, the idea of the table does not exist. So when I was asking Father God, like, oh, do the other side ever wish or want to partake in the world of love? I didn't really get too much information on that until I got to Mexico. My finding or feeling was that some of these guys on the other, or guys, girls on the other side, are now championing for the end goal of love, because I feel like, okay, I hope this makes sense. Okay, so let's say, for example, I'm a divine being and I had a divine partner. Mine stayed on the light and the other partner went down and what they call a fallen, right? If you want to make it simple, 2 angels, 1 stayed, 1 fell. So I feel like there's a time frame outside of someone coming in a vessel in order to find love. They can also fall again, or they can fall during their incarnation as a vessel that is not unaware. But for those that are not in a vessel, that are, let's say, guidances or guiders, or like, let's say, like I said, the demon and the angel on both sides, the ones that are playing the demons on the right side, I think they're being given a chance just like the incarnated, because it's like, it's giving me the impression that like there's ones that are going to fall, and those that have fallen are now given a chance at this very time frame to decide or to work towards finding love once again. So it's like, let's say these guys were banished for like millennia, more than millennia, let's say eons, right? And they were always cast to be working within the dark side of things. I feel like whatever's transpiring or whatever's coming into play cosmically is allowing these dark-sided entities that were once team dark to now jump ship in a sense, and like not jump ship, like they're still on that side. It's just that they're going to help raise the vibration of love, so that the game itself, the outcome is of love, so that therefore they can break their ties or binds to the dark side that they no longer wish to be a part of. And maybe within their times or their eons of being in succession to the dark side, they've learned from being a guide or watching human nature for all this time, or the time that they've been antiquated to be a guide of the dark side. They're being given this chance to prove themselves, to therefore bring the raise up the vibration for love, and maybe, like I said, jump ship to the other side. I know it doesn't make a lot of sense, but it was like when I was in Mexico, like he I'm not going to say the name, like I said, was the one that I was working with directly. And the thing was like, usually when you deal with the darker sided entities, they're coercers. And in this instance, he was not coercing me, he was helping me. So it was like, if I wanted to do something, instead of my light side chiming in, it was more like he was chiming in most of the time. And it wasn't like the ways that I'm used to with the dark side that are trying to say, they try to use ego to manipulate a situation. In this case, he was trying to help me with any of the energy work I was doing or anything like that. So it's like as if, like, in an area where darkness or the vibratory darkness is higher, your highest self of the dark side, which is working towards the overall game of love, can step in and aid. So I know I'm a little confused on that myself, because I've never experienced that, but he was totally, it was like as if when I was seeing my bleacher, I saw this bugger like trying to sneak on the bleacher, like, I'm team go, I'm team light over here, you know. And it was weird because it was like I could just see this person, like, you know, like, count me in on the other side type of thing. And it was weird because I had become aware of them before Mexico, but then I never saw them come into full swing until I was in Mexico, and I was being aided by them, but not to coerce me to do things or to become more egotistical, but for once actually assisting in the end-all game of love. So what it made me feel like was some of these buggers on the other side that are not incarnated are giving an opportunity, much like the divine entities that have fallen in the incarnated vessel mode. Maybe there's a misbalance, because like I said, the duality has to exist in order for the table to exist, meaning like for our 3D existence, 4D existence to exist, the duality game still has to be in play, and it cannot be fudged, it cannot be moved, because that's how all the working parts work. You can't have one wheel fall off and expect the car to run type of thing. So what I'm getting is that because of all these incarnated vessels that fell, gives or frees up some ability for those that have been petitioning to want to maybe jump sides or move sides or go to the other side again, some leeway to do it. Like they're given a test trial in a sense to be like, oh, are you capable of actually following this path and be of service to the light? So I found that really, really interesting. Like for example, like during the full moon, oh wow, it was beautiful over there. It was all red. I myself, I was doing cord cuttings, etc. during, it was my cousin's wedding was on that day, but I was still on the beach while she was dancing her heart out, and so was the rest of my family. But I was doing like cord cutting, contract endings, because the power of that time is quite good that way. But I would say watch out for this, because this is a very interesting shift. I believe Mexico needs a lot of help, at least energetically, because if Toronto, a dense city, feels light as a feather versus it felt like, like obviously there's humidity and it's hot, and that's not what I'm talking about, but it's kind of like that. I would call it energetic humidity. It's like the thickness of the energy was dense, and I'm like on a beach. I'm like on the most natural place ever, and yet I was feeling that way. And my connection was very weak, at least when it came to the light side. Not to say that you can't connect. It's just that I felt like it was a lot tougher there. So I just wanted to share that. But Mexico is really interesting. And I think maybe there needs to be more help, at least as like light beings. Maybe there needs to be some energy lifting towards that country. I can only speak to that now because when I was in my yonder years, I didn't even notice that, but it's quite thick. So I wanted to share that. I wanted to also point out that what I found out about the lower entities and the demonics, because maybe some of us that do have, we all have the darker side that, we have to have both. They help us do I've been introduced to two, but the one I was talking about that wants to jump ship was pretty apparent in Mexico. I probably have more, but I haven't been made aware of them yet. But they are good to do shadow work. They point out your fears and they help you work with your fears to admonish them, so that those fears then become skills that you can use on your light side, or vice versa. You could do that too with your light side abilities and throw it over to the dark side, because anything can become egotistical at some point. You can always become big-headed and, using your good skills from the light to shift to the dark. It can go both ways. But trying to keep a balance in between is probably the best way to do it. As a Libra, we're always trying to scale a way to make that balance happen. But for those of you that do work with your night side, it's an interesting time. See if you can figure out if they also are wanting to jump ship. And I think a good indicator of that is that for once they're not trying to coerce. They're actually allowing, like, this idea of freedom of choice and representation of love that I have never seen before. So it's making me think, and it's like in a weird way, because there's such a shift with, especially like I was saying, with figureheads, etc., going down. You could see it in the news everywhere you go. I mean, who would have thought that a lot of these major players were going to fall, but there's going to be definitely more. I really want, like I said, for us to focus in a couple days on the 13th, like all of us. I know I only have 25 subscribers, but I really do think the elites or the Masons or something's going down between the 13th and the 28th. I don't know what their game plan is. I'm going to keep dreaming and trying to get my downloads and trying to figure out what that is. But at least if we could just put out a prayer. And what I mean by prayer, it's like not Our Father. It doesn't have to be that. It could just be your own heartfelt emotions towards the elites not pulling through with their plan, or to stop or thwart their plan in a sense. Like, throwing monkey wrenches in their game plan. And the thing is, you don't need to know what the game plan is. It's just that you have to ultimately want to bring your energy out to stop it, whatever it may be, and energetically that will do work as well. So I will be focusing on that for the next weeks. I've been doing my readings. They've been going well, and we'll see where that takes us. I'm actually going to start doing them more so often out on the streets here in Toronto. I'm going to be starting up an Instagram called Read on the Streets, and hopefully I'll be like filming my videos and editing them and trying to build up a base here. Ideally, I'm trying to help heal people with that. And then as I get better at it, I imagine that I'll be able to maybe help people with their Akashic readings, etc. So that'll be really interesting. But yes, I wanted to just point that out. Please, talk to your dark side if you can, see if there is this shift happening. Because if so, that means that we can regain other players that we never would have ever had for like a very long time. And maybe they've done their due diligence. Maybe it's their time to get out of whatever stronghold they've been in for a millennia or however long. And the thing is that, at least for me, my person is pretty well known. I mean, in their circles. So I'm saying if this person's willing to be going to the other side, there are maybe other major players that are willing to do this too and may need our assistance in order to get out of whatever stronghold they're in within the spirit dimensional world that they are held to. So I just want to say that. I want to say I love you all. I feel very relaxed and at peace. I felt really happy in a way to get back home. And it was like the minute I got off the plane, I felt like this, whoo, it was like all of the denseness was released, which was really nice. Because I didn't realize, like, maybe energetically I've done a lot of work within my own city that it's not as dense as I think it is. And there are places in the world that need a lot more help. So it was different to actually feel that from being who I was like 10 years ago, who would just go to Mexico to play and party and do whatever. I actually came here with like energetic eyes and energetic ears and energetic feelers out to see what was really going on. And yeah, it was great. So thank you guys. If you do like what I'm saying, please subscribe. Please leave me I got a like, so I'm out to the races, but, you know, comments, shares, anything that's going to help us. And like I said, May 13th, 2 days from now, let's stop those bastards, because these guys are the guys that I'm telling you, they're like Kabbalistic, they run the world, they don't have anything good for us, put it that way. So if you could just say a prayer of like to just stop them, or make their path harder, please, just between the 13th and the 28th, or maybe do it every day. I'm going to be doing it every day. I'm going to be doing my dancing at night, my energy work. I'm going to be trying everything I can to stop this, whatever it is, even though I don't know exactly what it is. And I'm also going to be keeping my eye open for that crack going on by Oregon, because if something should pop off in terms of like a tsunami occurrence, I want to keep my eyes and ears open for that too. Because again, like, I'm always looking for the videos and for tidbits in my life. It's like, for example, like, I'll explain how I work. Like for example, with the Masons, it was like, once I got that first indication, it was like everything in my world was pointing to that. The number 33, Masonics were coming up. So the same thing was happening with the crack off of Oregon between California and Washington. So I'm seeing things here and there. I'm going to keep my eyes open. And the more signs and symbols that I get, the closer I will know to what level of emergency we're in. So I'm going to keep my eyes open for that. So I just wanted to tell you guys I love you all. We need to start banding together. If you like what I'm doing, like I said, subscribe. And until next time, love you all. It's weird to end these things. It really is. Okay, ciao for now. Bye.